What's Up Yuma with Johnny Porter is sponsored by Yuma Electric Service, LLC, serving the Yuma area for more than 25 years. YumaElectricServiceLLC.com.
Chili from Philly. Nick Papa Giorgio from Yuma.
What's up, Yuma? Welcome to another episode of the What's Up Yuma radio show. I'm Johnny.
And I'm Ronnie.
Okay, I got that right.
Yes.
So if you're watching, the cameras are a little bit different, so it might be a little wonky today. I'm getting used to the new switcher.
Yeah.
And soon we'll have somebody else using this. But enough about that and more about who we have. Would you like to introduce our guest today, Ronnie?
Yes, we have Lynn Daly and, oh my gosh, Kerley.
Teresa
Kerley. See what happens is why I don't host.
Yeah.
No, but they are our guests for today. They have a very heartfelt story about organ donation, and it's really connected me and Lynn because my dad was an organ donor, and so I just think it's not talked about enough, and we need to bring more awareness to it. You know, so yeah, let's welcome them.
So welcome to the show.
Yeah.
And okay, I got the camera right on this one. You both have unique stories when it comes to organ donation. I guess is that what you would call it? You have
recipient,
a recipient.
Yeah.
One's a recipient. One has related to somebody that gave organs. So let's start with you, Lynn, and tell us a little bit about how you came to be a part of this and champion organ donations.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Johnny, I know that my daughter, when she gives this story about her brother's journey with organ donation, it's always about a story of two phone calls. The one phone call that you dread ever getting, that a loved one has been hurt and may not make it, and the other one that people are praying for, that there's an organ for their loved one. And that's kind of Teresa and my story, is our family story, because our son Jacob, 16 years ago at age 24, rolled his pickup truck out in Gila Valley and had to be air-vac to Yuma and then out to Phoenix to Good Samaritan Hospital. And he was in a coma, and it was 8 days of, waiting for him to get some type of
You were looking
signal.
for some type of news, right?
Right. And so after, 3 neurosurgeons and third opinions and what have you, it was clear that Jacob was not going to make it out of that situation, and that because he was young, his body was healing, but his brain was proceeding to brain death. And so there was a time situation here. My daughter was roaming the hospital halls and saw a poster of a friend she worked with promoting organ donation. So we happened to be in an organ donor hospital, and she got the information that she felt that her dad and myself and her 2 brothers needed to make a decision on behalf of Jacob. And
so she saw it, and then she said that I think this would be a good idea, and so she had to present it to the rest of the family.
That must have been real hard.
Yeah,
for her.
what was that like?
Yeah.
Well, so we get this information. Now we're sitting here with the fact that, well, now what do we do?
Yeah.
And then she piped up and said, I think we have an opportunity here. I've gotten this information. This is an organ donor hospital, and organ donation is a possibility for Jacob. We just need to agree that that's the way we want to have this play out.
What did you and your husband say?
We all said absolutely.
Wow.
All 4 of us. We knew Jacob. Jacob was an outdoorsman, hunted, fishing. Just he worked for Pasquinelli Produce. He was out in the fields working. Checking fields for that. He was just that. An active kid. The last thing he would want to be is hooked up to machines in a hospital bed.
Wow.
And so, as hard of a decision as it was the only decision that made sense and still makes sense. And organ donation was how we proceeded that's how we started our healing process as a family. For him to have passed with not that option, we'd probably,
Yeah.
So you mentioned it began, that's what the healing process started, right? That's where it began. Now, was that because was like his life is going to have a deeper purpose now? There's more sense of purpose around this situation? Or what was it that did that?
Absolutely. That was it. That if Jacob's life was going to be no more, he had an opportunity to share the gift of life. And that's exactly what it is. It's a gift of life. And because he was an organ, tissue, a cornea, everything he was eligible for, and he was able to save many, many lives and give a lot of life to other people that evening.
So what is that process like initially? Once you say yes, we agree to this, what are some of the next steps, and how was that process?
Organ Donor Network, it has someone on staff right then and there. They take care of everything. They already have a list of donors. They go to find the match. They find the matches. They start in Arizona, and if there's no match for whatever organ or things that Jacob's offering, they go out to the next state and out. And
so
out.
that happens right away?
Instantly.
Instantly.
Right away.
So
I mean, people are on that list, like on the verge of death.
Yes.
So it's like time is of the essence.
And we had to wait just for one team of surgeons to come in from California that evening to actually take, the liver to go back to California. So they come, and if you've ever flown and you see a little ice chest
That's
and it
it.
has
gosh.
something, that's someone's life-giving gift on that flight, going to someone that needs it desperately.
So was your family able to all come together and see that purpose that you talk about? And was it easy for them to see that?
When we had that third meeting with the surgeons on the third opinion that, my husband insisted we needed to make sure
Gotcha.
that, and we all agreed. We brought in, it was my daughter and her two younger brothers, my husband and I, and then we brought in an aunt and uncle on my side of the family and an aunt and uncle on my husband's side of the family to listen to what the doctors had to tell us and what
Gotcha.
what was happening. That way,
That's smart.
when
So
we
being
were done,
educated on everything. So you
Yes.
had
And
all the questions answered. There wasn't
and
any
multiple
ambiguity.
points of views too,
And
because I
those
can't
second-
imagine, like, if this is my son, I might be like, no, we're not taking off life
You
support.
want to make sure you're thinking straight.
Right,
Yeah.
and you don't want to be second guessed, and it never happened. Family, those two aunts and uncles went out and disseminated the information that we were having to deal with and the decision we were dealing with for that day. And at the time before Facebook, it was we had my sister and my daughter had a. What was that?
MySpace.
MySpace.
It was
Oh, MySpace. I remember MySpace.
yeah, and
very
they
well.
had a healing. It was called Healing Bridge, and so that's how we communicated while we were in Phoenix with everyone here in Yuma that was was wondering what was happening with Jacob, and that's how we got the information out. And so anyway, the decision we were thankful to my daughter. She was a rock through it all.
Oh,
When
awesome.
we were all in an emotional mess.
Yep.
That she was able to think beyond our emotional state and give us an opportunity to make a decision that we did, and it was a good decision.
So since it happens right away and there's people on the list, do you get to see the people on the list and kind of go through that with them, or what's that process like? Or have you met anybody that has been a recipient of these?
No, the process with Organ Donor Network is that they provide us a list of who got what, not who, but a 10-year-old daughter here,
okay,
a grandmother here, and whatever. And we write a family letter to Donor Network and saying that here's our son Jacob, and tell a little bit about your donor. This is your donor.
Okay.
And Donor Network sends that letter to those recipients to let them know what, about their donor. And when our letter goes out to them, it's like, and we are willing to meet with you if you're willing.
And have you ever?
And we've never met, but we are going to write the letter because now the 20-year-old girl is now 26. She can make that decision for herself if she wants to. They do say that you may never hear from your recipient because they have not buyer's remorse,
Survivor's
but
guilt?
survivor's guilt because someone had to pass in
Yeah.
order for them to live.
Yeah.
So they may not, or we may not hear from them because maybe the organ didn't take.
That's
or,
right.
and
There's
that
so
type
many
of stuff.
things.
There's many reasons
Wow.
why we don't, but every survivor story is our story.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
We
that,
claim them.
So you haven't been able to reach out. They haven't reached back about, you said maybe the survivor's guilt. Did they educate you about that as well right away, that there is this survivor's guilt? So you're prepared for, writing this heartfelt letter and you might not get a response. And were they able to communicate that pretty clearly?
Absolutely. Yep. They really just take you through every step and so compassionately. You're in the worst days of your life, and they just calmly walk you through exactly what to expect. And like I said, it's a matter of time. They even to the point where they test how once they take you off life support, the doctors know how long it'll be before that person passes.
Yep.
So they don't want family in there. We were there at Jacob's bedside when he passed, but they don't want us to have to be there all day watching this happen.
situation,
So
yeah.
they time it where we're in there as long as we need to be in there. And then when he passes, we're ushered out as quickly as possible because then the surgery
they go right to
place.
work.
They
I
go right to
I
work.
really love that you share this. Is something that's always bonded me and Lynn, because my dad was an organ donor and passed, and like you said, the network just took care of everything. They handle it for you, and they're so nice. Because I was in shock. I was in shock when my dad passed. So they handled the, transportation from the hospital to get the tissue and the bones, and they took care, like, totally free. And they handled all of that. And so I don't know what I would have done without them. And they hold such a special place in my heart too. And I mean, what better people to help you through a horrible, horrible time, but like I said, I was in shock. I couldn't even have believed it happened. So for them to handle it and take care of the paperwork and all of that, it's just, there's such a blessing.
Yeah. In fact, we still get a Christmas card from Gail Farrell, who was our donor network coordinator from the hospital, because we just all bonded. And it was something that they had never seen, where someone comes searching them out about organ donation, which Jennifer did.
Wow.
She just could see that this isn't going to end well for my parents and us. So,
So you did you immediately start to get involved with and becoming a champion of organ donation right away? Because that's something that you're passionate about, you're here talking about. Did that happen right after that, and then you championed that from that day forward, or did it take some time to get involved and integrated with that?
It's one of those things someone said, if you're asked, say yes, And this is one of those instances. One time they were having an organ donor registration here at AWC, and they reached out and said, hey, would you be willing to man a table at AWC? And I'm like, okay, I mean, did I want to do it? No, it was too soon, but you do what you got to do for your kid.
That's
That's what we did. And then I've been out to Gila Ridge in the health department and told Jacob's story. Then from there, someone from San Luis High School asked. And then a couple of weeks ago, Donor Network reached out to the television station and asked if I would do it for Organ Donor Month, Donate Life Month. And then I said, well, I've got another part of that story.
Yeah, when I reached out to her too, she's going to come with me. I said, yes,
someone else,
please.
because our story is complete. Circle of
Yeah,
life.
yeah, absolutely. And so you kind of just pulled on that thread, and as people asked you, you volunteered, and you said, you're not going to say no, because it just had a big impact on your life, and it saved lives, and it gave Jacob's life purpose.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So how do you keep his memory alive today in your family?
We celebrate his birthday.
Awesome.
And at the time we had our oldest granddaughter was probably 3 at the time. We now have 8. And so those 7 never knew met him, but they all know their Uncle Jacob.
Yeah.
We have pictures, we tell stories, and our youngest grandson is named Jacob.
Oh, that's awesome.
so cute.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
That's awesome. And so people are probably wondering who's sitting next to you,
Yeah, she's
Teresa,
been quiet
and
this
why.
whole time.
She's quiet, but that's purposeful,
That's
right?
right,
That
that's
build
right.
some suspense, find out how this has a whole full circle
Yeah.
meaning to it. And you guys are related. We're going to talk about that
Yes.
coming up after a quick break. You're listening to What's Up, Yuma, right here on 94.7 KOFA Border Radio.
What's Up Yuma is sponsored by Yuma Electric Service, LLC, serving the Yuma area for more than 25 years. Specializing in residential and commercial wiring, services also include EV charging unit installs and solar-ready service panel upgrades. Information and consultation appointments at yumaelectricservicellc.com.
This is Juan Garcia from the KWC Newsroom. There's an extreme heat warning for Yuma today with the high near 109 and heat index values as high as 113. Breezy with gusts as high as 25 miles per hour. Monday was the first day of school at Yuma School District 1. KWC Cisco Stargazer visited Castle Dome Middle School to find out how kids and teachers are feeling about the new school year. To see photos, visit kawc.org. Stay tuned for more What's Up Yuma with Johnny and Ronnie on 94.7 FM, KOFA Border Radio.
AWC's Small Business Development Center will host a business pitch competition on September 10th at its location on Redondo Center Drive. Plan, Pitch, and Prosper 2025 will offer a Shark Tank-style competition for individuals who wish to showcase their ventures. Information is at azwestern.edu/SBDC.
What's up, Yuma? Welcome back to What's Up Yuma Radio. We are here with Lynn and Teresa, and we left with some suspense. We're going to find out what Teresa's doing here and how this is a whole full circle moment. So, Teresa, get into your story a little bit and how you've been affected by this network.
Okay, so back in December.
A little bit closer to the mic, if you can.
Sorry.
I'll bring it closer.
Yeah.
In December of 2020, I started getting sick. My body was weak. And so after some blood work, my husband rushed me to Mayo in Phoenix. And after a week there during COVID, all by myself, they finally did a biopsy on my arm, and they found out that I had something called granulomatous myositis, which is a muscle inflammation condition. And so immediately was put on medicines, and I would do IV infusions, and I would do that for probably a year. And then after that year, it's a year thing. It happens. So in 2021, my heart started rapidly beating, and
You started to feel something? Something's
different.
going on?
Something.
Yeah. And you were
I
able
would
to
just-
notice a little bit? And,
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
so I would be sitting on the couch, and my heart would beat so fast that I was like, I haven't even done anything.
Yeah, it's like you were running or something.
Running,
when-
yes, like I
Wow.
had just worked out, and so then of course cardiac doctor and Dr. Kanak, and so after that he's like, so your ejection fraction is super low, which is your heart is not pumping normally, and so I was then of course put on meds for that, and more IV infusions. And of course, I was like, I'm doing okay, right? And then my husband and I decided to go to a concert a year later, and in San Diego, and I was not feeling well, and we were about to cancel. And I said, no, we should just go, you know. And once we got to the concert, I was not feeling good. I really can't explain how I felt, but I just knew something was off. My heart wasn't beating fast or anything, but I was not there. Like I was not even listening to Dave Matthews. But so I finally told my husband, like, we need to find like a paramedic or
Wow.
something.
Yeah.
And they put me immediately after I told them I had congestive heart failure, which is like the injection fraction thing. They put me in a wheelchair, took me to the tent, hooked me up to an EKG, and they thought I was having a heart attack.
Wow.
And so went to Scripps there, and 3 days later, sadly, is when my body would go into shock, and I would have to be put on life support.
Wow.
3 days later, while you're still in the hospital?
Yeah, so
you're
up
still
in San
there?
Diego?
Okay.
So got to the hospital. They kind of regulated stuff with meds, but my heart rate would get up to like over 170 beats.
Oh my gosh.
And so they were just kind of regulating me. But by the third day, my body was shutting down.
Wow.
And so, the ECMO, we don't have ECMOs in Yuma. And so
What is that?
they were primarily used for COVID, for lungs, when an organ is shutting down. It's an actually big, huge generator. And I had huge tubes into my vein and artery through the groin area, and it just kind of replenishes your blood, circulates
Oh
everything.
my gosh.
And so,
Holy.
yeah, but there was someone there that had that machine for like 5 months.
Oh, like every
Sadly, I think
day?
they passed because
Like-
it's too much for your body.
Oh, wow.
So they were happy that they could get that off me in 3 days. And then from there, they were pretty much telling me, you're probably going to need a new heart. At that point, my heart had scarred, and you can't get rid of scarring. And then, of course, all the other stuff, the inflammation, the
Yeah.
ejection fraction was at so your normal ejection fraction is supposed to be 50%, and by then mine was 10.
Oh, so
So-
it wasn't even working.
No,
Yeah.
it was barely working. And so they pretty much were saying you need a heart transplant. And I, being a strong daily, was like, no,
I'm not getting one. Yeah.
I'm not going to do that. That's not possible. I'll get through this. And so again, IV meds and more medications. And I tried that for a year. And so then around October of 24 is when they said, you probably won't survive another year.
Wow. So what was that like to hear that?
I thought of that, and I think my husband and I kind of just looked at each other like, did he just say that?
Yeah, like shock.
We had been positive the whole entire time, like nothing serious was going to happen to me, but I didn't think, I don't know. I still can't explain it,
Yeah.
but I probably was still like, I don't need a heart transplant. What are they talking about? Even though my body was so weak and
Yeah.
so frail.
Yeah.
So then when you are going to get on the UNOS list, which is the list for donors and recipients, there's a process. You have to do blood work and test and test and test and
Yeah.
test. You have to get like your teeth checked out. Like they need to know that you're fit for the organ.
Yeah, that you'll be able to survive.
Exactly.
Of course.
Otherwise, so they want to know you're in good health. So that process started immediately then? Once you said
so,
that, okay, you said yes then. I do need
When
a
he
heart?
says like you got a year left, you're like, bing, put me on the list.
Of course. So that was like October-ish, and I started doing all the tests, and then once they were good, insurance, they have to check through everything. And then January 2nd of 2024 is when I got put on the donor list.
Oh, okay.
And, it all depends on your blood type. If you're a female or male, your health, all this stuff moves you up on the list. And if you're in the hospital, so that's like the person who needs it right away, right? I was home, but I was still not doing very well. So I think I was like a 3. But at that point, I was stage D cardiomyopathy, which is the worst one.
Wow.
And so that's all tinkered into the list and who gets it and stuff like that. And so by January 2nd, like I said, I was put on the list, and I got a call January 7th.
Oh, that's
Wow.
That's fast.
5
Wow.
days.
I bet were
5
you like
days.
really shocked?
So shocked.
Yes, I'd be
I
like,
remember
already?
sitting on the bed, getting the call, and they said, we have 2 hearts for you.
2.
Wow.
Not just 1. We have 2 options for you.
Yes. And I just sat there and said, Sean, we need to go to San Diego. And so we gathered up. They said, don't rush. And this is from their, the other side. I knew what was happening, right? There's someone in a hospital bed.
Yeah. That's,
And they are giving them time to grieve and plan things and do that.
Oh, okay.
And so we loaded up the car, went to San Diego with my parents and my mother-in-law, my kids, and Sean, and we waited for the call. And so the next day, it was about 24 hours probably, or more than that. And then by January 8th at night, 5 p.m., they wheeled me off, and I got my heart.
So what was that prep like? Like there is always an option of this not working, right?
Absolutely.
Like I'm not trying to be like all morbid.
Yes.
Johnny always tells me I get morbid, but like
No,
there's that you have
absolutely.
to be real about it. And so what was that prep
Well,
like?
I don't know if you're meaning so I could have got wheeled back there,
Okay.
and they could have said, I don't like the heart. And I would have had to leave.
Like anything can happen.
Anything could
Wow.
happen. And obviously, the doctors and the nurses, something could go wrong
Yes.
during the surgery.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Right? I could wake up, not wake up, right?
Yeah. It's a scary
all those
situation.
things were in mind. But I was blessed and I was super, super positive during the whole entire thing.
Awesome.
I knew like nothing was going to happen.
Yeah.
It's still scary. It's still scary saying bye to your kids.
I can't
And so
imagine. Yeah.
I woke up the next day and they made me walk.
Yeah, they do that. I know they do that for heart attacks too.
Like, hey, just
That-
had
that-
surgery. Let's stand up. You're like, what?
Yeah,
I mean,
to get the blood flowing, they got to get it going right away. Right
They
away.
want that heart
Yeah.
to recognize your body because
Wow.
that's the thing. My body's like, what is this thing
Exactly.
pumping? It did take a good week or two for you're pumped up. You're hooked up to so many things, but
Mm-hmm.
it took about 2 weeks for my new heart to recognize my body and
Wow.
start pumping without like another device.
Because rejection's real. That happens
Absolutely.
all the time. Just because
Yes.
you're like, oh yeah, I'm getting a new kidney or heart. Like it doesn't mean your body will accept
Sure,
it.
for sure. So, I'm on anti-rejection meds.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always getting blood work done. It's never ending.
Yeah.
It's my new normal
That's
now.
right.
I had a thing in September where last September that my heart was trying to reject. So, you get put on very high dose of steroids and you do more tests and then then it's all good. Like they have
So-
super great protocols
Yeah.
and they know what to do. Right.
So
when
kind
it
of making
happens.
this like the full circle thing. Lynn, how does this make you feel? And two, do you know who gave you the heart?
Okay, so same thing. They say I don't know anything except that she was a young girl.
Oh, wow.
I don't know where she is. I don't know her name. I had to wait about 6 months was the thing, and I could write a letter. And so I did last August. And they say, I think there's two things. They could either write back and say they do not want contact, which they would have told me, but I haven't heard anything.
Yeah, from the
Okay.
family. No.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because they have to grieve too, and they
Of
have to
course.
process. But
Yeah.
wow.
But it's funny because she wants to hear from the recipients and
Yeah.
I want to hear from my donor. So it's like,
Yeah,
both like,
the
come on,
donor
let's help
family.
each other. So how does this make you feel when watching this other side?
And I didn't say, I don't think that you're her niece.
Yes,
so there's
they're
a family.
related.
They're
That's
related, so that's how they're related. So
Yes.
go ahead.
Isn't that crazy?
Yes, Jacob and Teresa are first cousins. Their dads are brothers.
Yes.
And I think, like I said, it's the the phone call when
Yeah.
you were explaining you're waiting.
Yeah.
That you have to wait because the
Yeah.
other family's grieving. Well, we
Of
were the
course.
other
Yeah.
family.
It's full circle.
And so it is full circle.
we can explain both sides of
Right. And I
happening.
think maybe one of the most important things that I get out of this is saying, at the very least, have the conversation with your family.
Okay.
If something were to happen to you
Yeah.
that you couldn't speak for yourself, what would you want
Yep.
them to do for
Yep.
you? And if you were, on life support and, things didn't look good, just have the conversation,
That's great advice. Yeah.
Yeah. Become, if you feel the calling to become a donor, get that little heart on your driver's license.
I do.
Yeah.
know?
My son just got his permit, and I said, "We're doing that for you." He's all for it. He went
Yeah.
through that whole experience with his grandpa and the organ donor. We go to the baseball games, we walk the field, we celebrate
Yes.
his life.
So besides being a donor, and we're wrapping up here,
Yeah.
what are other ways people could help get involved?
Well, it's as easy as giving blood. I mean,
Okay.
Yeah.
If you're you're the universal blood donor. Today I think at Harley Davidson from 9 to 1 today they're having a blood drive.
Really?
Yeah. So that's a simple thing. Beyond signing up to be an organ donor, you can do it through the MVD and you can do it at donatelifeaz.org. And
Just give back if you can.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, I have a bumper sticker on my car that says, "Don't take your organs to heaven. Heaven knows we need them here."
Oh, I like
love
that.
that.
Yeah, I like that. Well,
so
thank you guys so
beautiful.
much for
Thank
coming on
you.
today and sharing that story
Beautiful.
of Full Circle. Family members, both touched by being an organ donor recipient and one that a family member had to give their organs. So thank you guys again. We really appreciate you. We are going to come back with Bryan Nance, and he's going to talk about his weight loss journey and how he's helping people lose weight and get better physically. We're going to do that right after this break on 94.7 KOFA Border Radio.
Today's day sponsor is Better Business Bureau, providing entrepreneurs with education and resources to aid in building strong and ethical businesses. Applications are currently being accepted for a 10-week business development program, BBB Breakthrough, which begins August 26th. Details are at ignitesparkedbybbb.org.
Next time on the Retro Cocktail Hour, we'll hear from Big Kahuna and the Copa Cat Pack. There's music for the original Swinger and something new by the Enchanted Tiki Cats. Darryl Brogdon here. Join me where the music's always shaken, not stirred. The Retro Cocktail Hour.
Saturday evening from 7 to 9 on Border Radio KOFA.
Blood services provider Vitalant is hosting blood drives at Yuma locations throughout the summer. Donations are critical to supporting the blood supply during long holiday weekends when fewer drives are held in the community. One blood donation could save up to 3 lives. Donations of all blood types, especially O, are needed. Appointments at donors.vitalant.org.
For KAWC News in Yuma, I'm Victor Calderon. The Yuma Proving Ground has new leadership. Yuma Proving Ground officials announced Command Sergeant Major Joshua Holthus assumed the highest enlisted position at YPG last month. Command Sergeant Major Holthus joins Yuma Proving Ground from Fort Bragg in North Carolina. Holthus takes over for outgoing Command Sergeant Major Mark Miller. Holthus has served in the military for 26 years and was deployed to Iraq twice previously. His awards and decorations include the Bronze Star, a U.S. military decoration awarded for, quote, heroic or meritorious achievement or service in combat, end quote. For KAWC News in Yuma, I'm Victor Calderon.
Fort Yuma Rotary and Rotary Club of Yuma are presenting the Killer Dueling Pianos on September 13th at AWC's Shonen Conference Center. The 21 and over evening of live music and entertainment will help support Rotary's local efforts, including scholarships and community service projects. Information and tickets are at eventbrite.com.
What's up, Yuma? Welcome back to the What's Up Yuma radio show. We are joined now by Bryan Nance, who has a unique story of weight loss and overcoming quite a few things, depending on how much you want to talk about it. Bryan, it's okay.
Tell us all.
But you have a unique story.
You don't want to know it all.
Yeah, wait, no. Wait, this is a PG show. No, I'm
That's
just
a
kidding.
family show.
Yeah, it's
okay.
a family show. No, nothing like that. But you do have a unique story, and you do something unique now with technology. And as things have progressed, and we have a pretty busy life these days, so hard to get fit and hard to make health a priority. You've kind of tackled a lot of those things. So first of all, we're going to start off. Are you from Yuma, and what was your early life like here?
I am from Yuma. Born in Phoenix. Moved down here when we were about 6. Moved around school to school for a while. Pretty much all over Yuma, so I got to know a large population of the city. Went to high school, and then after high school came here, played football actually, had a back injury, and that is where everything kind of started to fall off the rails.
Oh, really? So the back industry, and get the mic a little bit closer to you. If you Yeah, and speak with your loud voice, your outside voice.
So where were you? Where were you playing football?
I played right here at AWC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I played for my freshman year, and then I had a head-to-head contact.
Wow.
Compressed my L4, L5. For a while, I had no feeling in my legs.
Oh my gosh.
So that was a lot. That kind of derailed my plans of playing football at a higher level.
Yeah.
And then things just kind of fell off the rails from there. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, you're obviously a big guy naturally, so you have these dreams and these hopes of playing football professionally. This is your pathway. Shout out to AWC right here. That's where we broadcast out of. And because of an injury, a head-to-head collision, things start to unravel. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. Throughout the course of my career, I had over 15 concussions, so there was a lot of brain injury as well.
Yeah.
And when you have a lot of those injuries, alcohol and addiction kind of tends to take over.
Well, when you had your back injury, were you that's when you started? Was it like depression too?
Oh, absolutely.
Depression. You can't do what you want anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when you have high aspirations and it just all gets taken away and you have no other plan in life, you know, that's where depression comes in, alcohol, drug addiction.
And so they call it self-medicating, right?
Exactly.
So for the depression, then you start to self-medicate, and whichever form or fashion that comes in, drugs, alcohol, that's just to take away some of that extra pain, because that's a mental pain, right? Like you had a pathway. This is what you wanted to do. You dreamed of being a professional football player, and now you're stuck with this. And so things start to unwind.
Yeah. And you're in physical pain, man.
Yeah.
Like, that must be bad.
Still to this day.
Wow. Yeah. You live with it.
Yeah.
So then is that when you started to gain weight then? You started to use the drugs, the alcohol, and the weight gain came? And tell us a little bit about that if you can.
Yeah. So, you know, over the course of 20 years of career, you know, alcohol, bad food, you know, bad decisions, I got up to over 400 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, I really wanted to. That's one of the things that you got really big, and you made a huge change. And I saw that. We talked a little bit about your story, and it's like this needs to be highlighted. So go into that a little bit.
Yeah. So at the end, I was drinking over $1,000 of alcohol a week, over 400 pounds, smoking 3 packs of cigarettes a day, and I met my wife, and well, she was my girlfriend at the time, and she found me kind of stumbling around a parking lot at 3 a.m, and kind of put me in check and said, "Hey, if you want this, if you want this to continue, you need to get it together." So I laid down in bed that night and I gave everything to God. And the next day, it was like a complete lift of burden from my life.
So you felt something.
Yep.
You felt something lift off, and you felt some ease, and you knew that this was going to be the time for your pathway forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, it's never too late to turn it around.
That's right.
You know, all you have to do is put passion behind it, put some feeling, and let the universe and let God handle it.
Yeah. Surrender.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Yeah.
So from the start, you know, I started off walking, and I couldn't even walk a half a mile without, you know, my heart rate getting into, you know, 180, 190.
Wow.
And then, you know, started changing the diet, things like that.
And I think people might need a little context. So I work out and I do cardio. And when you're like jumping around for 30 minutes, I mean, my heart rate's like 160.
Yeah.
And you're walking at 180.
Yeah.
That shows you just like, you know, I mean, not to be mean, just out of shape, and how you know, it was a struggle for you in the beginning.
In the beginning, my visceral fat level, which is the stuff that kills people, it was almost at a 30.
Wow.
That's knocking on death's doorstep for a lot of people. My metabolic age, I was, you know, the machine we use maxes out at 55 years old, or 15 years in the future, so was maxed out. But yeah, just changing the foods, changing the mindset, and listening to positive things, and giving things up to God was really what changed things for me.
So what can you tell us a little bit about some of the positive things you were listening to? Did you go down like that? Like when people say, or when people hear self-help, it has a certain ring to it, and people maybe I don't like it, but there is a lot of good stuff out there that will help you change your mindset. Anything in particular, any books or something that you remember, any speakers or mentors that you would like to highlight?
C.T. Fletcher is a great athletic motivational coach. Also a gentleman named Andy Frisella is big on entrepreneurship, self-help, things like that. And then listening to entrepreneurship stuff about, you know, how starting a business can help change your life.
Yes.
And you know, a lot of that time on that track was spent learning.
So like you're going for these walks, and then so you're listening to something as you go for these walks, and as your walks continue, you're able to go past half a mile. You're getting more and more, so you have a relationship with your walks, and you're learning.
Yeah. And then, you know, from being able to only do a half a mile walking, you know, it became a mile, and then it came 3 miles, and then it was like, okay, well, if I can do this, let me run a mile.
Okay, yeah.
You know, so the first mile I attempted, I was like,
don't get crazy. Let's not talk about running
Johnny
here.
doesn't run.
I've seen him run.
Yeah, no, we're not going to run. Yeah.
Hey, I've never really been into running either. Like, I've never been a treadmill person. I enjoy weights, and Pilates is my new torture device.
Run is a bad word here, so we're not going to use that. But so you build up. You got to get.
Now you're running.
So now I 25-minute mile, and then finally I have it down to under 9 minutes.
Sweet. That's
and
good.
somebody at my size, that's pretty.
That's
pretty
good.
Impressive.
That's good. Yeah. So then what happened after running?
After running became biking, and then, biking, 10 miles, and then lifting in the gym and things like that, trying to recomp my body, building the muscle, building up that metabolism, and building up myself as well, building up the self-confidence.
And that's really what I want to
huge.
touch on a little bit more too, because while you're doing this, I do like maybe use like Audible or like somehow to be able to get that content. You're listening to that. So not only on your physical, right, which is important, you're doing your mental health as well, and building up that confidence, which is just as important. We're one being. We're it's integrated.
Yeah.
So explain a little bit about that. How that marrying those two things helped you overcome and lose all of that weight.
Taking care of your mind first, and then taking care of your body, I think is the main key. You have to get your mind right to be able to take care of your body. If you don't have the discipline to take care of your body, you're going to give up.
Yeah.
And discipline is more powerful than any motivation you can have on the planet.
Yeah.
Like I was motivated to get healthy, to take care of my family and things like that. But the discipline, having that discipline is the key.
I agree, and it's not easy. And keeping the motivation and determination. I changed my life 11 years ago, and I haven't stopped. And I started working out like 7 years ago. That was not fun in the beginning, and you do want to quit. You want to start, and then I want to do this, and then you have to change your eating habits. So that's what we're trying to teach our son, because he just wants the easy way out. He's 15. He wants the easy way out for every little thing. Like, I'll just run tomorrow, or I did this today. I'm like, no, this is every day. You have to do this.
Yeah, you have to do something active every day, whether it's a stretch or a walk, or even doing push-ups in the morning when you get out of bed.
Exactly.
Knock something out first thing in the morning. Get your blood flowing throughout the day, and it's gonna change not only your body, but it's gonna change the chemistry of your brain. It's going to release dopamine, serotonin, all these things. They're going to be able to get you through the hard things in your day. If you do hard things in the morning, the rest of the day becomes easy.
And Johnny, you do your walks in the morning?
Yeah, every morning that's what I do. I go out, and that's something I learned after when I had to put my life back together. A similar story as far as like losing what you think your life is going to be about, losing that pathway. At one point in time, I lost everything, and I had to do both. I had to take care of my mind and find that pathway forward. I had certain mentors and stuff, Alan Watts, Wayne Dyer, these people that I listened to be able to get that. And I did that all on my walks. So again, I would, like you, I'd walk and I would listen to these things and reprogram my brain to get back up. And to get back up is not easy unless you really, like you said, have that discipline. So then I'm walking and then getting that discipline through my ears.
Yeah, I love that. So was your wife your biggest cheerleader? Was she so proud of you?
She's the first person in my life that I actually ever felt that actually loved me.
Oh,
wow.
I love that.
I love my family. My family's amazing, but that's a different kind of love. And
she saw you. She saw you in that moment.
Your
she saw
lowest
you.
hour.
Yeah, you were there in that parking lot, 3 a.m. She saw you. He said you could do this, and it gave you that spark. And you needed that spark to be able to get on this journey, because I know discipline, it comes later, but something needs to wake you up.
Well, you got to hit that bottom.
Yeah,
there has to be a catalyst. And I thought I had hit bottom multiple times in my life.
Yeah, me too.
There's something about people that can go through addiction and things like that and keep getting back up and keep getting back up that a lot of people just they can't really grasp. It's a type of determination and a type of will that I almost think that the universe makes these people the ones that stand out the most, that come out on top.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was a powerful story. I learned a little bit about you. You're one of the first ones when I did the social media side of What's Up Yuma. I went and visited. You're one of the hidden gems, and I saw there was a bunch of technology. There was new things, right? So you ended up learning about a lot more within the health and wellness community and some of the new technologies that were able to help benefit you as you continue, because you can't just stop.
No,
you can't get. It's not just like, okay, I did it. I lost. How many pounds was it that you lost?
I'm now down 125 pounds.
Wow,
125 pounds. Yeah. That's incredible.
You've lost me more than me. I'm not trying to say what I weigh on air. That's no. That's crazy.
Talent, do the math. Do the math. How much does Ronnie weigh? We gotta figure that out.
You don't guess that. But that's awesome.
Put that in the comments.
In the comments.
I will not read those. I'll be mad.
Ronnie weighs.
So that's amazing.
Yeah.
You've lost a human.
Yeah.
That's really, really cool.
Yeah, and being able to lose that much amount of weight is amazing for the body on a mechanical level.
Yeah.
For every pound of fat that we lose, it takes almost 9 pounds of pressure off of our joints.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Me neither.
Yeah.
That's something I learned.
And you are part like a scientist when it comes to these
Yeah.
things. And we're going to talk about that
Okay.
afterwards, because I just, and I got to say this, yesterday I had a doctor's appointment. I've been having high blood pressure issues. He said, take some supplements. I've lost since that last appointment back in, it was 6 weeks ago. Anyway,
Okay.
I've lost 12 pounds and
look good.
my blood pressure went down 20 points.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, and that's in 6 weeks.
big.
My doctor was so happy, and it was like, this is the way to go. And so
Yeah.
I'm proud of you. And that felt good. So and it really does. And I do feel better. So
Sweet.
I'm on that journey too. And we're going to find out more about his journey and how you can biohack your way to some of these things. That's coming up right after a short break. You're listening to What's Up Yuma Radio right here on 94.7 KOFA Border Radio.
What's Up Yuma is sponsored by Sunrise Cleaning, serving the Yuma area's residential and commercial cleaning needs. Sunrise exclusively uses eco-friendly cleaning products and provides specialty services such as solar panel cleaning and pressure washing. More information and appointment booking at sunrisecleaningaz.com.
This is folk singer Michael Jonathan. Welcome to our worldwide musical front porch. This week, all the way from Detroit, the Gasoline Gypsies. And wait till you hear Billy Joe Jones, another award-winning singer from Texas, and this week's Wood Songs Kid. Prepare to be inspired on this week's broadcast of the Wood Songs Old Time Radio Hour.
Tuesday evening at 7 on KOFA Border Radio 94.7 FM.
Christina's Closet will host Swing for a Cause, a golf tournament in support of the organization's ongoing mission of helping individuals return to the workforce. The event, including lunch, raffles, and prizes, will take place on September 13th at Cocopah Bend RV and Golf Resort. More information and tickets at christinascloset.org.
What's up, Yuma? Welcome back to What's Up Yuma Radio. We are talking to Bryan Nance and talking a little bit about his health and wellness journey. So I teased a little bit about some of the technologies, the new, I guess, maybe theories in wellness, and that's what you got, therapies, stuff like that. And that's what you're into now, right? Because you mentioned metabolic age.
Yes.
You mentioned something. You mentioned you have machines that measure
got
this.
robots.
Yeah, you got robots around there.
Not yet.
Dive into a little bit about that and how you're using technology to keep the weight off and expand and hopefully further your life.
Yeah. So basically, while I'm on my walks, while I'm listening, I find out that, a majority of our population is metabolically dysfunction.
Okay.
What does that mean? That means our cells on a cellular level are not functioning the way they're supposed to. We don't have the right ingredients. We don't have the right type of activity. And a lot of it is the hardening of the cell. Well, we need to loosen that cell up, the cell membrane, to allow nutrients and oxygen to come in and metabolic waste and toxins to come out.
Interesting.
Well, we can do that with light.
Okay.
So we use different frequencies of light. We also use electromagnetic frequencies. We use 95% pure oxygen, and all of it in concert returns the body back to a metabolic age, and it actually helps reverse metabolic age.
I see.
So I'm 40, and we spoke about my metabolic age earlier.
Yeah.
My metabolic age now is 25. So my
Wow.
body functions like a 25-year-old.
That's awesome.
And
You're like reversing age.
Yeah. Well,
somewhat inside, internally.
And it's everybody that's, doing these type of therapies, everybody's different. Everybody's body has different ways of healing.
So go ahead and get into some of those therapies. Like
Yes.
you said using light. What is that like?
So we use red light and near infrared and infrared light at different wavelengths and intensities to penetrate the body.
Okay.
Really open up the cells and allow the nutrients and the oxygen to come in to fire up the mitochondria, which is basically the engine. If you don't have the right fuel for the engine can't run, right?
Exactly.
Well, that's what a lot of us have, and that's a lot of it is due to Wi-Fi, 5G towers, cell phones,
Really?
Oxidative stress, just stress in general. All of that can lead to metabolic dysfunction.
Okay. So these lights, like, is it like, what is it? You lay in something? Is it in water?
No, so we have our own custom beds that we've made, and you get inside of them at different time lengths to begin with. If you come in too hot or for too long, you can actually get sick from all the toxins and metabolic waste being produced.
Yes.
So we slowly ramp people up so that they can get the benefits that they need.
This is interesting. Wow. Okay, what else?
We use electromagnetic frequency therapy. Turns out, back in the 60s and 70s, the hippies were all about taking your shoes off, touching the ground. Oh, it heals us.
Yeah, and
Grounding.
I
Yes,
got to say,
grounding.
that was one of my things that I did on my healing journey. I learned that you got like ions or whatever they're called, and then you got to exchange them with the earth. And I'm going to get hippie right now. I take my shoes off. When I go for a walk. And I would go sit in the park and touch grass. Like people say, the kids say, go touch grass, go touch grass. Like literally go touch grass because the grounding works. So there's a therapy now that allows for that?
Yeah, we have what's called a beamer mat. And what we do is we put you on for about 16 minutes. And in that 16 minutes, your blood literally turns from looking like LA freeway traffic during rush hour.
Wow.
And it turns into like you're driving a Maserati on the Autobahn.
That's neat.
You can actually watch, we have a video of a scan microscopy where they watch before and after, where, you see the differences, and you see the difference in the size and the activity of the white blood cells. Well, those white blood cells are going to start pulling things out, helping with inflammation, helping with immune system activation, things like that, which is going to protect the body. If we are not protected, we're at risk.
Exactly. So what about some oxygen-based training? Like what do you do with that?
So we have these machines that condense oxygen from 21% atmospheric oxygen, which is where we're at now. And it condenses it into 95% pure oxygen, and it puts it in a bag. And we put you guys on either a treadmill or an assault bike or, whatever people are able to do. And for about 8 to 10 minutes, they do a little back and forth, high intensity and relax, high intensity, relax. That's going to saturate the body with oxygen. The creator of exercise with oxygen therapy, his name's Dr. Otto Warburg. He's the only 2-time Nobel Prize winner for medicine.
Wow.
He found if you hyperoxygenate the body, disease cannot survive.
Okay.
Well,
That's what you're doing.
One thing I've learned, we don't breathe correctly either, right? So we're not getting in that oxygen to be able to fight some of these diseases and some of these ailments. And it's not reaching the point where it needs to reach. And so we're going through with this chronic inflammation, all these different things that are ailing us because we're not getting the oxygen we need.
So how should we be breathing?
deep.
Deep.
Yeah.
Long breaths. Let's all try.
And, breathing can actually regulate your stress. It can bring you back down. Yeah. And that's something, sometimes I still struggle with,
Well, I've heard sitting is the new smoking.
Absolutely.
So I try to get up as much as I can.
Yeah.
Walk around, even if it's just around the house, whatever. I try not to sit for too long.
Yeah.
Bad for circulation.
It's terrible for circulation. If we don't have circulation, we don't have that life force moving throughout our body, carrying nutrients and things like that. It can lead to neuropathy. It can lead to, swelling in the arms and the legs, and all sorts of other metabolic dysfunction and problems within the body.
That's right.
And then also with like just lifting weights, right? And that's why I wanted to get into some of the biohacking type of thing where you don't have time to be in the gym so much. We're busy people. We're moving forward. We have stuff to do. There's a way to maximize your time spent while you're lifting these weights through some restriction or something?
Yeah, we use what's called blood flow restriction bands.
Okay.
Basically, it's a type of cuff that goes over your arms, and we pump them up just a little bit to limit the blood flow, not cut it off. We just want to limit it. And what that does is it builds up lactic acid and nitric oxide in the muscle. And when we release the bands, that shoots up into the brain, into the pituitary gland, and it releases a 300% increase in growth hormone.
Wow.
Well, wherever you're having aches, pains, excess body fat, things like that, your body instinctively knows that's where it needs to go.
Okay.
At the same time, we're building up the lactate threshold within the muscle so that when you do start to work out things like that, you're no longer going to get sore.
Yeah.
And after a while, you don't have any fatigue at all in the muscle. So like for me, when I have them on my legs and I do consistent training with it, I can get into a squat position and sit there. And
be okay.
I'm perfectly fine.
Like you're sitting just like in a chair.
Yeah.
You're just good.
There's nothing. It's because of the amount of lactate threshold within the muscle that allows us to do that. And we're building fast twitch muscles, stabilizing muscles, it's amazing stuff.
That is neat.
So, did you ever think going through your journey that maybe the first entrepreneur you listened to, that one day you'd be an entrepreneur and a business owner and help people on their journey to lose weight? Did you think that, or when did that come into being?
Through listening to the podcast and things like that, I would listen, and people would come on and talk about these different therapies, how to help people, this and that and the other. And at the end of the podcast, they're always like, "Hey, give us a call."
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, this podcast got millions of listeners. So the gentleman that created this red light system, he said, "Hey, give me a call if you're interested." Millions of listeners. I'm like, "There's no way."
Yeah.
So I wait a week and I call the guy. And, we start having a conversation, and he goes, you're the only person that's called me.
What?
Yeah.
So you were the only person that called? Oh,
this
wow.
guy. So it turns out he's out of Vegas, and we go up there and have a conversation. It's supposed to be an hour-long meeting. Turns into 5.5 hours. We start meeting his customers, this, that, and the other. And what really sold me and my wife on that this is the way to go, this is what we need to do, is there was an 80-year-old gentleman that walked in the door. I could not tell if he was 55 or older.
Wow.
I mean, almost no wrinkles, fit. And we're sitting there talking to him. I'm like, "Hey, man, what are you doing?" He's like, "I eat whole foods. I go to the gym, and I come here 3 times a week."
Awesome. Yeah.
And
you're like, sold.
Yeah, we were in shock. And then, as I continued my journey, I learned about the blood flow restriction bands. Call that guy as well.
Yep.
And we build a reputation, and he sends me some, and I try them out, and then I'm like, okay, well, this is good. Let's put this and this together. And then I hear about the oxygen, and I'm like, well, if this is good, let's, why doesn't people put this all together? And then I find out, there are places that do that, but it's a $500 a month fee and this and that, and it's just unsustainable for people. And we're trying to reverse that.
Yeah, and one of the ways you're helping people. So if somebody wants to come in and get that help, you're willing to help somebody.
Absolutely.
Because it, like injuries or whatever, you're there to help them get better, use some of these technologies so they could get past that injury, past that point of depression. You're willing to give back to the community, and that's really why I wanted to highlight your story and your situation.
Yeah, anybody that wants to come in, we'll figure out a way to help you out. We have, children.
Do you guys do cold plunging?
We are in the process right now of getting those.
I didn't know
up
if you
and ready.
liked it or not. There's such a debate, if it works or
I like
if it
the cold
doesn't.
water.
My husband loves it.
Yeah, I love being cold.
I hate it.
Ask my wife. We keep the house at 68, and she hates
Oh
it.
my goodness! No,
Yeah.
Your bill must be huge. All right.
It's okay.
Okay, so you're gonna cold plunge.
Yeah, we're gonna have 3 of them
Cool.
total, and then we'll have all the other modalities as well. But we're helping people from 5 years old all the way up to 87, and everybody's different. We have people whose cholesterol has dropped 20 points in just a month and a half. We have people who's have rheumatoid arthritis for decades.
Yeah.
No more pain.
Awesome.
Everybody's story is different.
That's
and,
right.
And it's fulfilling to be able to help those people.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. And you were helping somebody because a guest of this show reached out to me and said, "Do you know any place that will help Romeo, the boxer?"
Oh, Romeo.
Yeah, Romeo. Do you know any place that'll help him get past his injuries and help him? I reached out to you, made that connection, and you gave him a membership. You gave him access to these things. You're helping him.
Yeah.
This guy on his journey to way to become a professional boxer one day, win that world title.
That's right.
It
But
will happen.
you're
That's right.
doing it.
Yeah, we're happy to be sponsoring him as he comes up to his next fight. I think he's got about 7.5 weeks until that fight takes place.
Okay.
But he was just saying how sore he is all the time, how much how much it doesn't feel good, and it's like, well, come on in, we'll take care
We'll
of it.
figure it out.
Yeah.
Together.
So I appreciate that. Thank you so much for coming on, sharing a little bit about your story and how you're willing to help people in the community with their story. So I really, really appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. And with that, What's Up Yuma Radio is a production of KAWC, Colorado River Public Media. We broadcast from the studios in the Matador Activity Center at Arizona Western College in Yuma. We want to thank our engineer, Talon Gonzalez, along with Anthony Ornelas, Juan Garcia, and Dave Reek.
All right, and you can find out more about KAWC at kawc.org, on Facebook at KAWC Radio, and on the KAWC app. And stay tuned following our program for KOFA Midday Music.
And on our next program, we are going to have Jeff Bird.
Okay.
Jeff Bird's going to talk a little bit about finances and what they're doing to the schools and helping schools and kids learn about finances. And also Chris Druick, he's going to come and talk about what they're doing at the Community Theater.
Oh, that's cool. All right, and you can listen to the podcast version of our program and check out past episodes at kawc.org/podcast/What's Up Yuma Radio, and email us at whatsupyumaradio@kawc.org.
All right. Thank you again for coming on,
That
man.
was
I
awesome.
appreciate it.
Thank
I'm
you.
getting used to these cameras if you're watching. So there we go. There's the white shot. Thank you, guys. We'll see you on Monday.
Bye.
What's Up Yuma with Johnny Porter is sponsored by Yuma Electric Service, LLC, serving the Yuma area for more than 25 years. YumaElectricServiceLLC.com.